Here's Brody Brazil.
So Deion Sanders is in his second year as head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. Maybe his final season, who knows? Obviously, he was interested in taking this job because of his son. I think he could be great for this school and college football, college sports over the long run. His future to be determined, but right here, right now, it sure seems like once again his media sessions are gaining a lot more attention than what his actual football team is doing on the field. And this is not a hit piece. This is not a diss track on Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. I promise you it's not. In fact, what he says here catches a lot of attention, but it's actually a really good conversation point for those of us who follow sports, specifically college football, college sports, whether you're a fan, a media member, involved in college sports. He brings up some interesting discussion points here. So that's why I wanted to make this video. It's really not about Deion. It's more about what he brings up here, and then let us unpack the entirety of that conversation. So the genesis of all of this video that I'm about to play and the summary of it is that Deion thinks that maybe the media covering players on his team are a bit envious.
When I say I genuinely love these kids, I genuinely really do.
And I appreciate that. Like, again, that's one of the things I was excited about him getting into college football, his experience, his background, his connections now with the NIL deals, the name, image, likeness deals. This guy's like an agent/coach for a lot of these young players.
It's not about what they can do for me on the football field. It's about what I can help them with in life.
I'm perfect. That's a great way to start this. I like that. I'm all for that, obviously.
Landscape has changed in football. Once upon a time, you guys never attacked college players.
Well, you know, for the longest time, they were completely determined as amateurs, and they still are. I'll say it, they're kids. Until you're 25 and the brain has fully matured, I mean, these are 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe 22-year-olds. They are still kids. They're developing kids, but that's separate from being an amateur versus a professional athlete. They were not getting paid, and obviously we're about to get into the money part, but let me separate that for a second. If we're talking about age alone and kids versus adults, then yeah, I think these are still kids, and they should probably be treated more like kids than adults, separate from whatever money they are receiving. But here we go with the money.
Now they're making more money than y'all.
Oh, which is like maybe a sensitive topic for those in the media. And I will say, you know, as soon as a player accepts a Tesla Cybertruck, yeah, then they probably are making more in that 1 year than a media member covering the Colorado football team.
Some of y'all are envious and jealous about that.
I mean, wow. Is there some truth to that? Possibly, but is that more exaggeration? Is that more... That's a huge claim to make. Like, that's really going on the offensive here. And again, for the attack thing, which we'll get into in a second, I'm curious to know, like, what were the attacks on these individual players or the program? Was it just common criticism of a team not doing well, and that's what he doesn't like? We'll find out here.
So you're on the tech. It was hands off a college player because he's an amateur, remember?
Right, that's what I just said. But now, they're not amateurs. Let's separate this. They're not amateurs anymore, entirely, but they still are kids. Now, if you're telling me they're kids, take it easy on them. I'll go with that. I'll vibe with that. But this is the interesting study and conversation. How do we, as fans or media people, how do we treat college athletes now that they are in on basically being professionals?
Remember that, guys? Now it's hands-on. Go at them any kind of way you want.
I don't know about any kind of way you want. I mean, I think there is some responsibility to be had in the media. I also agree that we're in a time and place now where a lot of things get said that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe they wouldn't. People are trying to be more spicy in the media. They need those clicks. They need that attention. So I don't disagree with him one bit on that side. I'm just curious to know, what are the specific instances here of media going after his players? And he's very defensive. But again, this is almost like a parent, right? Well, he is a parent on the team, but he's like a parent to all the other kids on his team.
Making more money than me, and I'm mad about it.
Wait a second. I need to go back on that one for a second.
Guys, now it's hands-on. Go at them any kind of way you want. They're making more money than me, and I'm mad about it.
That's insinuating a lot, right? And I will say, I mean, he's not wrong in a sense that maybe there is that weird feeling about all this, but I don't know that that's the reason. And I don't know that anything is happening so sinister that he needs to go on the offensive here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is an example of it. I would love to see it. I would love to see what got him so riled up right here.
When you attack them, these guys are sensitive. They've never been attacked.
Correct. They're 19 years old. They've never faced the media. Like even when they were in high school, the small local paper wasn't really going to be as critical as somebody covering a D1 football team with high ambitions and one of the most prime head coaches in college sports, right? So, of course, the spotlight's going to get bigger.
They hadn't gone through what I've been going through with y'all for years.
And that right there might be the sore spot, right? The sore subject for Deion. He's now maybe taking all of that bottled up energy and feelings about media interactions, and now he's very sensitive about this. And I also understand that too. I understand it. I appreciate it. But see what he's saying right there is they're new to this. You're going right after them. They don't know how to handle this like I do because I'm a grown man. I'll tell you this, is 43 years old. Yeah. At 23, I wouldn't handle stuff like that, maybe whatever his players are going through. I handle it a lot better at 43, still not perfect, than 23. He's not wrong about that, but I don't know how that relates to the actuality of the situation here. Again, they're not amateurs anymore. Can't say that. They are somewhat professional to a certain degree. They're receiving things for doing things, like that's a job. And they're still kids. That's the real separate but important but probably most decisive part of this.
They haven't done that. So it is what it is. I know you're going to do your job and what you must do, but your job does not say attack.
And I agree on that too. Look, if you're in the media and you're just going for the low-hanging fruit all the time, I'll say this in full defense of what he's suggesting here. If this is becoming like a battle of media versus Colorado football, that's not good. How can we squash this? How can we get past this? I don't know. If you're one of those people who's putting out, salty stuff for clicks, I'm not about that. I've never been about that. It's not my thing. It easily could be. It's definitely not. So I appreciate his take on that. But yeah, there you go.
The personal stuff, leave it to be personal, because if we start flipping the script on y'all, you wouldn't like it.
Uh-oh. I wonder, what does he have? Like, well, flip the script. Like, what do you have on the media?
I can easy.
What do you got?
Thank you, Lord, for stopping me there. Ooh, that was almost a good one. That would have went viral.
Okay. I like the way that ended. I mean, that's Coach Prime right there. I mean, that's Deion. So, look, again, he's not entirely wrong. I don't think he's entirely right, but most importantly, wrong or right, he brings up some interesting things for us all to consider. Again, professionals versus amateur. I think you still have to treat everybody like humans, but they're not amateur anymore, so we can't call them that. We can't even really go down that road. The real thing is, though, we're not talking about grown adults. So if things really are getting personal, then I don't really stand for that. And it doesn't mean that when you're a professional and you're 32 years old that you should treat somebody terribly as an athlete. They're still a human being, but these are still kids, and that is the most important thing I wanted to bring up. That's the end of this video. Appreciate you for sticking around. Thumbs up down below. That greatly helps me, this video, and this channel. Also, before this ends, take one quick second, make sure down below that you are subscribed to this channel. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.